July 23rd. All right. It is live. Hi, you guys. My name is Tori Christman, aka Tori Magoo 44 on YouTube. And I was in the Church of Scientology for 30 years. I got in 1969 before many of you were thought. And I woke up in 2000 and I didn't really think they did the things that I found out they do. And I literally escaped out. That's what happened. I thought I was just going to leave. Hi, Bean. Hi, Psych on the Rocks. How are you guys? I really didn't think, critics had been telling me for years because Scientology, IDT would send me out to handle the critics. So I'm out there talking to them. And to me, I just believed they were people with a different viewpoint. Hi, August. Hi, Mar Loca. I'd rather be in Maui. Me too. Girly Ghost 1. All right. All right. Hi, Kelly, YouTube fan. Southwest suburbs of Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, so that's why she and I have a special link. And I also was born in Kansas City, Missouri, just so you know. But I grew up in Chicago, in the suburbs. My ex-husband used to always say when we were together, she's not from Chicago, she's from the suburbs. It's like, whatever. So excited for your interview with Eric. Yes. Oh, yeah, you're right. When is that? Oh, my God. I got to keep track of this stuff. I did an interview yesterday with the mental health kids, and that was good. That was really good, except I'm trying to get a copy of it. If they come on and they hear this, if you can send me a link to it or tell me how to put it on YouTube, I'd really like to have it on this site also. Hi, Verity. Hi, Kelly, YouTube fan and regulator. All right. Howdy. With ClearCog, LOL from Germany. Okay. All right. DT with Eric, 725. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much, DT, for letting me know that. I appreciate it. So 725, tomorrow's the 24th. So it's the day after tomorrow. So tomorrow is, what are we at now? We're at Tuesday today. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so it's Thursday. That's right. I have it written down. I know I do. Okay, good morning, SP Crusader. Leanie G. Good morning from the UK. Hello. I don't think, oh yeah, Sophie's here. Hi. Hi, Sophie. I'm sorry I didn't even see you slip in. Hello from New Zealand. All right. Good to see you. All right. When are you doing a video with Mark Bunker? You talked about it on your last video. I know. He and I, that happened. And then all this stuff with, the vice president happened and, the election and Biden stepping down. And both of us are very much interested in that. So we were watching it and, it was just sort of like too much was going on. So we were like, all right, let's wait. And I called him today and said, what do you think? And he said he's really tired. So let's wait. So we're going to try to do it tomorrow. So hopefully we will tomorrow. And again, it's a maybe because I've been trying to learn how to do this for 4 years. 4 years. I've been trying, and I've asked all these activists who know how to do it. And they say, if you do this interview with me, yeah, I'll teach you. And I do the interview. Did they teach me? No. I still don't know how to do it. So now, luckily, though, I think the software is better and easier and faster. So I think we'll be able to do it. I hope. Good to be here live. Thank you, Miss Winaldy. And I love Bucky too. I know he's a great guy. He really is. I loved him even when I met him when I was in the church and he was a critic. It was like he was the only, I had to say, he was one of the few critics at that time that was nice, that would be nice to me. Many of them were really snarly and, yelling stuff at me, but he never did. And so I always liked him right away because of that. I thought, this guy's okay. It's Wednesday here in the UK, 8 a.m. Wow, just to confuse matters. There you go. So it's almost midnight here. It's like a couple minutes to midnight. Sophie, good morning. That's right. It's amazing time. I love it. I mean, I love this is so fun with all these different people from all around the world. It's so special. It's really great. So tonight I thought we'll just do a Q&A and you guys can ask me any questions you want and I'll answer them. Hi Dee Dee. How are you? I love you guys. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And if you want me to talk about something instead of asking questions, let me know that. Tell me what you want me to talk about, and I will. It's almost 7 p.m. Wednesday here. Wow. Oh, yeah, because you're in New Zealand. That's right. 2 a.m. in Cincinnati. That's correct. Okay, no worries. We're here whenever you do it. Also, I'm excited about your video with Eric Rader coming up. Me too. He always acknowledges me just like you. Thank you. Nice. Thank you to the mods. Hi, everyone. Good, Kelly. Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I really am. SP Crusader. Oh, she's saying good morning to Sophie. Okay, so what do you think? Do you want me to talk about something or do you want to ask me questions? Please put questions before your questions and comments before your comments. Thank you, Sophie. Good suggestion. It's 3:30 in Cincinnati. Woo! 2:59 in DC. Okay. Hi, De Silva. Okay. Does that mean you're in Washington D.C.? That's what it looks like. But I would think it's now midnight. 12, 1, 2. Yeah, that'd be right. That's what it would be. Okay, say. Hi, Draw. Okay, question. How many Scientologists reach the upper levels? Good question. Very few, really. In proportionately, very few. It's like I've said many times, it's like a triangle, and there's tons of people there used to be. Now, quite frankly, there aren't that many. Oh, I forgot my water. Darn it. I forgot my water. I might have to go get my water. But did I have it here? I thought I had it here. Ooh-wee. I don't. Okay. It's midnight in Washington. All right. Cool. It's like a triangle, like I said. It used to have tons of people on the bottom, newer people, and then as you move up, there's less and less people. People, they don't want to pay it. It's a lot of money. And people just, for various different reasons, get to clear. A lot of people get to clear, which if you look at the triangle, it's probably about, the OT levels are probably about here. They're the top triangle is the OT levels. And so clear is kind of like here, and then Dianetics and your grades and things are on the bottom. A question, do you know whatever happened to Greg and Debbie Hughes and also Cal Cole? I don't. And I'm awful with names. So that's the thing that I'm not the person to answer. You can ask me, but most of the time I won't know. What's a win? Okay, can you explain what people mean when they say they had a win? Oh, definitely. Oh, you mean at OT2 when they have a win? I'm rolling my eyes because OT2 was very weird for me. OT1, you're basically going to a bus stop and saying, hi. And they say, how, doc? And you go, okay. That's one person. Hi. That's another person. Hi. It's just sort of like you can communicate, right? I think that was it. But I remember it was very weird. That was OT1. OT2 is very difficult. That's a good question, Sophie, but it's a very difficult one for me to answer because it was all opposites, like black, white, tall, thin, hot, cold, stuff like that. So you would literally be in session by yourself, solo, You're holding the cans and you're going, all right, hot, cold. There's no read. Okay. Tall, thin. Okay, there's something there. What is that about? Well, I've had to fight weight for most of my life. I finally lost 100 pounds and I've kept it off for 15 years. But for a long time, I fought it when I was in Scientology. So that would read on the meter and then I would talk about it, right? And then finally, maybe I would realize, you know what? This has been a long-standing problem and it's not going to go away. I have to lose the weight for it to go away. And then the needle would float. And it's like, okay, there's the win. I realized, okay, I've got to lose the weight. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's like, that's the only thing I can think of is something like that where you just sort of like, OT2, honestly, for me, I had very few wins on it. It was mostly just doing it and then it reading and me. I remember saying, I don't even know what it's reading on. I don't. Like hot, cold. Okay, what is that? Anyway, but normally a win is something where you realize something and you feel better about it. There you go. I'll tell you a really good Dianetic win if you want. I can tell you. Okay, DT said, question. Do you think current ways of protesting Scientology are being effective? I do. I absolutely do. I've talked to a lot of people about this because obviously everything's shut down, right? And that's from Anonymous because they screwed up with Anonymous. This is my opinion. And they picked on him, right? And we said if they would have just left him alone, they would have been gone in a week or two. But because they picked on him, went to their houses, just like these kids. They're putting the packs to the parents and stuff like that. But I think originally, this is just my thinking on it, that maybe they were trying to do what they didn't do with Anonymous and tried to just ignore them, put all the shades down, just be closed, and they'll go away. But obviously that didn't work. So now they're kind of, doing these packs, they call them dead agent packs. A dead agent pack is something that has all kinds of information, which is usually false lies about either the individual, their child, son or daughter, or people they're with, me, other people that they're with, and their black PR about them. Like the email that they sent to Jessica, and her mother called me and was laughing her ass off. She said, this is like a 1950s. This reads like a 1950s thing. It's ridiculous. But that's how they are. They never learn. They never learn. Question, do you think the tech guide prior to dropping body includes giving all your money to CMS in your will if you haven't already? Just saw the old video on it. Probably if they can get it, they would. That's an insulated thing of the families because remember there's public and Sea Org. Now the Sea Org, they don't have much money anyway. So they don't have much money to give to Scientology. And in fact, Scientology will give them a bill saying they owe them all this money before they die, which is ridiculous, but that's what they do. And you don't owe it. If you're a Sea Org member watching this, you do not owe a dime. They owe you money for all the slave labor you did. But anyway, prior to dropping your body, which that's another thing they do, which is just like, oh, you're just going to drop your body, which doesn't happen. I've sat with a Sea Org member trying to drop her body, and she said, I just don't know what to do. And she was crying. It was awful. And, at least luckily I was there because I sat with her and said, look, first of all, let's get a couple of things straight. For the amount of work that you've done, her name was Sally Esterman. I said, for the amount of work that you've done behind Yvonne, who started Celebrity Center, Sally was like the right-hand person behind her. I said, you should have a parade, really. And plus she'd been in it for like 30, 40 years. And I said, you should have a parade with horns and trumpets and people thanking you. That's number one. Number two, I know for years people are going to go, really, Sally Esterman died? Oh, I wish I could have told her X, Y, and Z and thanked her. And so then she started crying. And I said, believe me, a lot of people love you and want to thank you, right? And I said, and then, all right, let's move on to really, what do you want to do? Do you want to come back your next lifetime? You've signed a billion-year contract. Do you want to keep that or not? And she said, no. And I said, okay, then that's a wrap on that. And see, that's why I'm saying she was lucky she talked to me, because I'm still in. Remember, that's sort of a big overt. And there you go, Osa. And that's the way it happens, where we're out and you don't know what we're doing. I was in, but I was like, you don't have to come back next lifetime. I don't even know if people do come back next lifetime, but if they do, they certainly don't have to for a billion years and slave away if you don't want to. And she certainly didn't want to. So I said, okay, there's that. I said, last thing, let's look at what do you want to do next lifetime? What would you like to be, do, have? She told me, she started crying, she hugged me, and a couple of days later, she passed away. So I'm not saying I'm responsible for it, but I'm saying there isn't the dropping your body, like Scientology promotes. It's like anyone dying. There's things that you have to wrap up and people that you need to say things to if you can. And one of my friends did it the best, where she knew she was going to pass away. So she wrote up every single hat. A hat is like what you do. Like she was a filmmaker, she was a writer, she was a teacher, she was a mother. So she wrote hats on all of these. She was in bed dying. So she dictated it to her sons and they put it on tape and got it printed out. So, it was really cool. It was. And she paid off all of her bills. We did she said, I'm not going to have time and I owe this guy $6,000. And I said, well, I'll have a fundraiser and we'll raffle off your e-meter. And we did for $5 a ticket. And this kid finally won up in San Francisco. We flew him down. It was like a Jerry Lewis telethon. It was really fun. And we gave him the e-meter and then we flew in the guy who she owed the money to. We gave him the $6,000. It's just those are the good sides of Scientology. I know you guys don't hear much of them, but there are some things that are pretty cool. But anyway, there's that. Hey, Legend Tori. Hi, Marissa. And Mersey Dotes. Okay, hi, yay. I was asleep. I woke up and couldn't sleep. Turned on my iPad and there you are. Glad now to catch you live. Thank you, me too. Sophie, comment? No, I mean a win on any level. Okay, a win on any level, like I said, is just you feel better about something. You have a realization about it. It can be any number of things. It's like, oh my God, I realized I've been really mean to my brother or my sister or my mother or my father. And I finally realized, they're not the real reason for my upset. It's something else. You see what I mean? And it's like, oh, good. And all of a sudden you feel really good about your family member and the needle flows and that's it. That's a win. It's like, oh, I had a good win. Now there's the old wins. Like I told you, I've mentioned this many times where I just newly got into Scientology and these guys said, well, I had a big win on Incentive. And I said, really? What happened? And he said, I realized I'm Julius Caesar. And I said, really? And he said, oh, yeah. And I said, wow, that's intense. So we talked for a little bit. And I said, okay, it's nice meeting you. I got to go. And I remember thinking, good thing I didn't go to medical school. I would have never met Julius Caesar there, right? So now I go to this is at Denny's down by 8th Street by CC, which is Celebrity Center. And I say, okay, I'm going to go sit with some other people. So I go and sit with them. And this other guy goes, wow, I had a really great session today. And I said, really? What happened? And he goes, I realized I'm Julius Caesar. And that's when I really got the bullshit. I already met Julius Caesar, but you can't say it in Scientology. You can't. So you just have to go, oh, okay. And it's kind of, I have a thing I call the closet where if it doesn't, whenever stuff didn't work or it was weird, I just put it in the closet. I thought I'll deal with it later. It's like, what is the thing with Gone with the Wind? What's the girl's name? I can't think about this now. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Anyway, that line. Hi, no one. Hellos, Tori. Hi, regulator. A win is a cognition, but they don't know what a cognition is when you reach a goal in TRs or other levels. Well, that can be a win also. I mean, that isn't the only, for me, that isn't the only, that's one thing. You can reach a goal, like you're trying to learn TR0 and you finally get there and you get past. That's a win, right? So that's a good point. They of course they have a million things that you have to get through and get past. And once it's passed, that's a win. But I'm just talking about, like auditing wins kind of thing. That's another one. Or in life wins. You can have wins yourself. If something gets better in your house, you're like, wow, that's better. That's a win. That's what we would call a win anyway. Hello, beautiful Tori. Hi, Anchored Love. All right. And Fluffer Squirrel, she's here. Hey, wonderful people. I guess I should put you guys on here. There you go, Fluffer Squirrel. Hi. And here's Psych on the Beach. Question. Did you meet Stacy in Scientology or after you woke up? Yeah, I absolutely did. She was one of the key reasons how I got out of Scientology. In fact, Andreas was the number one connection that I had. Then once I totally woke up, I thought, what am I going to do? I can't be out here by myself. So I wrote to Andreas and I said, you've got to help me. I've got to be with somebody that knows what I'm going through. So he had Stacy write me, and she wrote, Dear Magoo, who are you? Because I was just Magoo on the internet. And I was like this crazy person. And I wrote her back and I said, Stacy, hi, this is Magoo. I'm sorry I can't really tell you who I am. I hope you understand. I know you went through something similar, and it's just sort of like there's not a lot of trust when you're leaving. And so I send it. And then I get a thing back, Stacy Brooks, and I think, wow, she wrote me back. She's going to help me. And I look at it, and it goes, Dear Magoo, sorry we can't help you, Stacy Brooks. But she did. We ended up getting in, she called me, and we talked, and we used to audit together at AO, and, we became good friends. And she helped me, she and Bob Minton and Jesse helped me, and Mark helped me get out, really. Don't forget to hit the like button for Tori. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. That's a good one to mention. All right, now this is Mike Sandoval. At what OT level do you realize holding the tin cans is completely bogus? I don't think you do until you leave. I really don't. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of goofy from the beginning. I mean, I remember when I first got on the Dianetics course, and they said, yeah, you have to buy a meter, which I did, and I still have the old wooden meter that I had. And they said, and you have to get these soup cans. I mean, this was 1969, so now they have real fancy cans that you have to buy and stuff like that. But back then, you had to go buy these soup cans and make them into, cans that you held. And it seemed really hokey then. It was like, are you kidding me? We're going to use soup cans? But it worked. It seemed like it worked, and it worked on other people. So, okay. And then one of the really funny ones was I got on the academy levels, and some guy came in and he goes, you're not going to believe this. And we said, what? And he goes, check these cans out. And he had these really long, skinny cans. We said, what are those? Where did you get those from? And he goes, asparagus cans. So we all went out and bought asparagus cans. I mean, we were like kids. You know what I mean? It's like anything that came in. Oh my God, it's the latest thing. I got to get the asparagus cans. So it was kind of like, as long as you're getting auditing, you weren't really, I didn't think it was completely bogus. I didn't. I just thought, I'm going to go along with it. I'm not an engineer. Maybe engineers would go, wow, this is really stupid. But for us, we weren't engineers. And it was like, okay, that works. That's what we're doing. I hope that helps, Mike. Just popping in to say hello. Hello, Ted. I hope everyone here is doing well. Take care. All right. Thanks for popping in. And don't forget to hit the like button. All right. Whatever happened to Justin? I was friends with him when I was young. Anon. Okay, well, Anon, you have to tell me who you are, but Justin is doing great. He lives in near Pasadena, and I see him about every 2 weeks. So he's doing good. He's not a Scientologist. He left Scientology a long time ago. So he's doing well, and you should write me and let me know who you are. I'm not going to say any more, just, but Anon, what does that mean? Who are you? Okay, regulator. Yeah, also FN on the meter is a win. Right. Yeah, if your meter, but usually you have, that comes with the realization. SP Crusader. All right. Good morning, Fluffer Squirrel UK. All right. Good. Okay. And here's Sophie. These are links for my link tree thing, which if you can't get it here, which I don't know if you can or not, it's underneath Tori Magoo 44 on my main page, and underneath it says for more information about Tori, click here, and that's got all the link tree things. There you go. Hey, Tori, always love to hear your stories. Thank you, old Fritz. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Comment, I have a very hard time believing that the head of CFS believed it's real. I have no idea. I really don't. I have no idea. I don't think he does, but that's just my own opinion. So weird. This is Verity. So weird to most never ends dead agent people in this day and age when most people are not hiding their lives. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of dead agenting that goes on within companies, corporations. It isn't just Scientology. Believe me on that one. I mean, I hear from people all the time where they're working someplace and now they lost their job, and it's like, what happened? And you start picking it apart, and it's like, well, somebody was third partying them, meaning there's two people that are friends. Now somebody comes in and goes, oh, you're not trusting her, are you? And, pretty soon it gets wider and wider. And then it's like, we're going to have to let you go. And it's like, why? I'm doing great here. Well, we just are, and it's like, it can be, it happens in other areas. Believe me, that's not true that most people are not hiding their lives. You guys aren't hiding your lives, and that's true. But a lot of people are still very frightened about the internet and the stuff that people can find about them. I talk to people all the time. I try to tell them what you say, kind of like, hey, the information is out there. You can try to hide all you want, but it's out there. That's all there is to it. And smart people have access to it. So get over it. Just move on with your life. But people are people. What can I say? All right. Sophie, question. How is it explained that the planet hasn't been cleared yet? Why isn't everyone OT? That is such a great question. And I ask myself that almost daily. I think, how can they stay in there? A, when Miscavige has changed the tech in some awful ways. I mean, really negative, horrible ways. And B, that, the goal was to clear planet Earth, but nothing's happening. C, the orgs are empty. You can go by any church and they're dead. There's like 2 or 3 people in there. So, why would they stay? And the only thing I can figure is they stay because their friends are there. And that's why most of us stayed. It's like you have family, you have friends, and that's it. I mean, my ex-husband was born into it pretty much. I mean, his parents got in 1950. So what is this? This is Swedish Lena. Question, why do you think most people give up on OT7? Is it the cost, all the sec checks, or the constant self-auditing 5 times a day? Right. You're supposed to audit 5 times a day, Most people don't because they're working, they don't have time to do it 5 times a day. But I think most of it is that it just doesn't work. And people go, you know what? Call me horrible, but I'm leaving. I mean, it just, after a while, you just go, no. And I think, frankly, all of us who have left, they kind of go, wait a minute, this person left, and that person left, and this OT7 left, and that OT7, and this OT8, and this guy's dead, and that. I'm out of here. Question: what does dropping your body mean? Dying. It just means dying. It's Scientology's little, it's sort of like Hubbard's little lingo for letting go of your body. The truth is, you don't have that. You don't have that. Um, of course, they're cause over matter, energy, space, and time. So you just drop your body. But the truth is, that doesn't happen that way at all. They get sick, they die. Tons of them die from cancer because they won't get any medical treatment. So anyway, it's just one of their little phrases that's basically a real BS phrase. Nanya, never in, always against. Hi, Tori Magoo. Aw, thank you. Thank you. All right. Here's one question. Did you see Mindy interviewed Jackson in Portland? He said he knows you. It was a great interview. Nice. No, I didn't see that one yet. I'll have to look for it. Thank you for letting me know, though. I appreciate it. Okay, here's a little heart for all of us. And all right, this is Mike. Holding the tin cans is like chanting Hare Krishna. The more you do it, the more you convince yourself it's working. So they end up having you do it all day and night. Not true, but maybe that's true in Hare Krishna, but it's not true in auditing because you don't do it all day and night by any means. No, most people, like public, you're working. So you're working in the day, you audit at night if you're auditing. Many people are training, so they're not even auditing at all. Sea Org, I don't think they get much auditing at all. They promise them everything, but they don't give it to them. I know that because I've audited Sea Org. Good evening, Queen Tori. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate that. It's good to see you guys too. Comment, dropping your body seems so insensitive, right? Grief is real, and to suppress that must really F with members. I don't think it does, in that they're going to experience grief. If they feel grief, they're going to experience it. They are. It's like things change. You know what I mean? When you get closer to death, things change. They really do. And I think Cam, the one that I told you about, she's the only person I know where she really did wrap up everything and put a bow on top of it and passed away. I mean, it was amazing. She even found a mother for next lifetime and sent that mother her nutrition guide of what she wanted to eat. She mailed her toys that she wanted to play with. She sent her educational things and what she wanted to learn. She was a trip. She really was. Hey, Witness, hi, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. All right, and this is Sophie. Mike, I agree. But did you see the interview Aaron did with Jordan Peterson? Jordan explains what does work with the e-meter and where L. Ron Hubbard stole it from. It's a very interesting interview. Okay, good to know. So there's a lot of information out there. By all means, check it out. Love hearing your stories, Tori. Looking beautiful as always. Thank you, Sue. That's nice. Thank you very much. All right, Witness is saying hi to Sophie. All right, here's Psych on the Rocks. Here's a comment. All right. It would be nice if they used common sense and realized they're pushing their parental duties on other people. hindering the person's bridge completion using Scientology logic. Whoa, I sorry about that. I mean, even I got confused on that. It would be nice if they used common sense, that I agree with, and realize they're pushing their parental duties on other people. I don't know what you mean by that. Like if there's, or you must be talking about the Sea Org, because that's not public that I know of. But Sea Org, I think they did push their parental duties onto other people because they have to. It's like this is their post. They have to keep that going. These are the people handling the kids. That's how it is. Take it or leave it. Hindering that person's bridge completion. Okay, using Scientology logic. Okay. There is no logic when it comes to Scientology. So I get why you have it in parentheses. Well done. All right. Old Fritz, comment. When I hear of people unaliving, I remember you say lots go crazy on OT7. If you truly believe clusters and thetans are stuck on your body, it's no wonder, really. No, I didn't say lots of people go crazy on OT7. I said some people go crazy on OT7. I knew a guy on OT5 who was a friend of mine. He came up to me and he said, I think I'm going insane. And I said, okay, go home. Again, I always felt like I was on the bridge next to the bridge to total freedom. So I could say stuff like that. I didn't care. It's like, if you're going nuts, go home. Don't stay here, because these guys aren't going to, it's not going to get better here. If you're already feeling insane, go home. Right. But there's a lot of people who die on OT7. That's what I said. And some people commit suicide. But again, it's some. It's not a lot. I don't know how many there are. But anyway, I do think for the ones that went, I know one who killed himself, and he really, truly believed the clusters and body thetans were stuck on him and he couldn't get rid of them. And he killed himself. But that's one person that I know of. Other people, yeah, I think it can definitely not be a good thing. But I don't think you go crazy. Although some people might. Hooking yourself to a meter is not going to make you happy. Well, you don't know that. You never tried it, so I'm not going to say. Chanting magic words doesn't make you happy. Okay, well, you have tried that, so you can officially speak on that. All right. Question: does David Miscavige get ethics handling? If so, does it? If so, who does it? If you know. I don't know, and I don't know if he gets ethics handling. I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. That from everyone I know who's worked with him, they're very frightened of him. They whatever he wants, he gets. That's it. It's like nobody's going to go, you're in a lower condition, man. No, not going to happen. Not from the people I know who were directly with him. And they said, you have to remember this, because we hear about Miscavige beating people up. But he never really beats people up. That's what Jeff Hawkins explained it to me, because I said, you're 6'2", and Miscavige is like a shrimp. So I don't get it. How can this be? And he said, okay, first of all, remember, you can't beat up the cult leader. We both laughed. True. And he said, secondly, he never does. He sort of bitch slaps people. And then he had people like Marty and other big guys that they would beat you up if you fought back, which very few people do, I think. So there you go on that. I really don't think he has anybody putting in his ethics. But I'll put in your ethics, David Miscavige, you fucking idiot. Your ethics are out. And they've been out for as long as I have known you. As long as you took over the church which you stole it from Pat and Annie Broker. And you know it, and I know it, and so do thousands of other people. So that's out ethics right there. Because LRH didn't give it to you, he gave it to Pat and Annie Broker. That's what happened. And you stole it. And then you set up the finance police, which was a nightmare on Elm Street for everyone. And then you just started declaring people suppressive. You never used any of the ethics tech that you're supposed to. You just declared me, never even talked to me, never heard my side of the story. I don't care what you think about me. You are an out ethics weasel. There you go. So, stated. Life is not about being happy 24/7. That is not human or human nature. I don't think Scientologists think that you have to be happy 24/7 either. So, in all fairness, there, yeah, of course. I just met Julius Caesar. Yeah, it happened. I met him twice in one day. Great question. Okay. Yeah, that was a good question, Sophie. Thank you. Skipper McGee's closet. Exactly. Perfect, YRB. That is a perfect analogy. Or Lucille Ball. Okay, Sophie. Mike, you should watch the interview. There are things that are known therapies that L. Ron Hubbard stole. Yeah, there's tons. That was his thing. He stole stuff from other really good therapies. That's why people go, well, I really like Scientology. Yeah, because it isn't Scientology. It's really, Buddhism or Taoism or another religion or, an author who came up with it. It's like even the tone scale, they traced it all the way back. There's another guy that created that. So, everything that he said was his, not really. He was good at marketing and wrapping it up and saying it was his. That's it. Scarlett O'Hara, that's right. Tomorrow is another day. Thank you. Thank you for that name. Yeah, because I was trying to remember her name. Yeah, Scarlett O'Hara. Thank you for that. Dave read a KR that John Atak wrote on the scavenge. I meant to find that and clip it if it hadn't already. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure you can Google it if anybody wants to. John Atak knowledge report on David Miscavige. Yep. Yes, who is the perfect person that Scientology can show and say, see, it works? That person or persons do not exist because it's all bogus. Okay, well, that's what you think, Mike, but they don't think that. So I can't think about that right now. If I do, I'll go crazy. I think about that tomorrow. Close enough. Close enough. Okay, here's Mike again. Every therapy cannot make you happy 24/7. I think we agree on that. That you made your point on that. Hi, Tori. Hi, Chad. So nice to catch you live. Thank you, Gretchen only. All right. Good to have you here. Make sure to hit the like button, everybody. All right, Fluffer Squirrel, UK. I would really like to understand more about the AEIOU drills. Are they like conversations? AEIOU. I forget what they are. I'm always happy when I forget something because I can't remember what they are. AEIOU. I don't know. I'll have to ask somebody. I remember the term AEIOU. I don't remember. I'm just like gone with the wind, which is good for me. I'm happy whenever I can't remember something on Scientology stuff because who needs it? But I'm sure there are drills on. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember what it is. You could probably Google it right now. Okay, now this is Mike. It's a fantasy solution to a non-problem. Okay. Okay. Question, how is it explained that it costs so much to do the OT levels? Well, remember, it's a triangle, right? And so you start out here, it's not much. It's like $40 to get on the train, right? But then once you start moving up, well, this is the next thing. And now we've got this whole package for you. So and it's a special and it's gonna, you're gonna get this discount and stuff like that. It's really a combination of Scientology with their bridge to total freedom and peer pressure. A lot of people saying you've got to do it. You've got to do it. Like, who's the person who asked that? Sophie. All right. So it's like, Sophie, you came in here and they know what your buttons are. So let's say, you were really concerned about communication. So you got some help on that. But this next thing that you're going to do is really going to help you. And in fact, we have a book that goes along with it that you can get. And the whole thing, it only costs blah. And there you go. And then, they don't do the whole thing. They don't sell you the whole thing because nobody would buy it. But they just do it, inch by inch. And they make sure that your friends make sure you want to do it. And I'm not saying they make sure, but it's like the Truman Show, by the nature of it, makes sure the peer pressure is working, where they're getting you onto the next levels. So no one ever sits down and goes, here's why it's so much money. They do. They've had all kinds of stuff explaining why it costs so much money. But it's basically supply and demand. You want it, this is how much you have to pay for it. That's all there is to it. And look at all the people that it's changed their lives. Now they're having a difficult time with that. They're not selling the OT levels as much. Why? Because nobody's having any wins with them. Nobody did. All the people that were on it, us, we're out. We left. It was like, take it. You can keep your OT levels. Okay. So Sophie said, question, how is it explained that it costs so much to do the OT levels? Okay. And then Mike started, here it is. All cults are, and religions to a certain extent. Okay, so they're all expensive. Not the same way. Scientology is a business. It is not a religion. It's different. It isn't a donation. They say it's a donation, but it's not. You have to pay it. There's no question about it. Can a win also be a realization on how a course helped you? Yeah, absolutely. Often made up to finish the course. Yeah, that can happen. Usually, I don't know, when I was on course, I really liked the courses because you really think you're going to be able to help people with the information. So it's sort of like, wow, this is fantastic. So I liked it. I loved training. I had a lot of wins on training. I didn't have any wins on auditing, really. I did, but not really. But remember, early on, Hubbard said I had to get rid of epilepsy before I could come back in the Sea Org. So all of my auditing, even though he says if you're auditing over a hidden standard, you will never have case gain. You'll never have wins. It won't work, right? But then he said I had to handle epilepsy before I could come back in the Sea Org. So all my auditing, in my mind, was geared to trying to get rid of epilepsy, which, of course, that's not going to happen. So there you go. So here's Sophie said, witness. How interesting. What was it that witness said? Witness. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Oh, it was to Sophie. Oh, the thing on John Natack. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And you guys can Google that if you can't find it over somewhere else. Okay. Now, what is this? Dutch people? I don't know what the question is. You have to ask a whole question. All right. Christy reminds me of Carol Burnett Kahn with the windskin. Okay, putting stuff under the rug until you trip. putting stuff on a shelf until it falls. Faith crisis. Okay. I don't quite get. Is that the same as my closet thing? Okay, Sophie, please put in a comment before your comment and questions so Tori can see them easily. All right. All right, I'm going to skip that. Okay, because they didn't say question or comment. Don't die, Mike. Good morning from South Africa. Hi. Hi, Caroline. How's everything in South Africa? All right, this is SP Crusader. New name. It worked for me when I got sick, of course. I'd tell them that they wanted to hear while at the examiner on the cans, I'd sing my favorite song in my head. That never worked for me, but I've heard people do that. Never worked for me. But I get it. I know people who do that. Saw you were online, Mike, earlier, but couldn't join. Hope you're doing good. From Witness. Uh-huh. What did Mike say? I have $100 pure neem wood imported chanted beads. Ooh, puffs out his chest. Good for you. Right. Late night with Tori. Woot. Yep, it's true. Okay. So remember to put a comment or question. So this is Dylan. This should be a comment. I caught another 3 a.m. What's up? Well, we're here. We're here. And this is from Anon. Nice. That's great he's out regarding my son. I didn't know he left Scientology. Now, this is my son. If you're talking about my son, Justin, I know three or four different Justins. I can let you know who I am by messaging you sometime. You'd remember me. Good. Yeah, please do. Because I would definitely like to be in touch with you. Yeah, just send me a private message. That'd be cool. And there you go. All right, DT question. Do you think Odo wants out? You know, Odo is a funny guy. Let me just finish your thing. And what would be the best way to help him? Okay. Drew and I, for years, went flash picketing, just looking for Odo and talking to him, and spent hours and hours and hours talking to Odo. And he's heard all my stories and Drew's stuff, and we've talked to him, and he always sounds like he's going to come, he's going to leave, but he doesn't. And I don't know what that is. I know his sisters are out, but I think maybe his parents. I would ask him. I'd say, I know your sisters are out. What's the deal? What's keeping you here? In a very nice way. You'd have to say it in a very, very nice way. But you could say, look, just out of curiosity. I mean, I'm going to ask him if I see him, because and there you go. Also, so you can tell Odo, don't ever talk to Tori. That'll work. There you go. Stop some more free speech. Anyway, that's my suggestion. Okay, now this is Witness. Mike, it's 12:20 here. Yep, it's 12:48 here. Truth Tory companies, yeah, as far as other areas that do fair game. People are canceling folks every day, right? Yeah, they get weird. Acer 211 question. What was your reaction when little Davy made the announcement that LRH had dropped his body? Honestly, my very first reaction was bullshit. bullshit. And then it got worse because he came out and said LRH is giving the church over to Pat and Annie Broker, his best friends. I'd never heard of. So I was like, who the hell are these people? And who is this little shrimp? Because I never really knew Miscavige either. Other people did. Excuse me, but I did not. And then when he took over, I was just like, I started asking people, like, what's the deal? Like, why? What happened to Pat and Annie Broker? And people were like, don't ask, don't tell. That's what happened. So for me, it wasn't good. Comment. The thing that makes me think Davey doesn't believe Scientology is that he knows he's running from the law and always in lawsuits for similar things, specifically human trafficking. Well, that's how we see it, yeah. Whether he sees it that way is a whole other thing. You got to remember he's surrounded by people that are kissing his ass daily. So how much he is able to think is another thing. Almost all ex-Hare Krishnas are low-key and don't speak out. Why is not known. Fear could be a reason. Yeah, I think fear is a reason a lot of ex-cult members don't speak out, including ex-Scientologists. And they should, because it's very healing. It's very good. It helps everybody. Here we go with Witness. Come on, Miscavige, you're losing ground. Sheesh. What's LRH going to say when he comes back? You're kind of effing it out. I think Dave knows LRH isn't coming back. So that one's not going to work on him. I believe the higher ups in most cults see it as a business career, not a real church or religion. I think you're right. I think that's true for cults. Sophie, the cognitive dissonance that they must have to stay in regardless of that, it's not working and the planet ain't clear yet. Yeah, it is. It's huge. That is huge. And you have to remember, I never even heard the word cognitive dissonance until I left. Till after I escaped out. I never heard it. Now maybe it's more common now, but I never heard it. And I'm pretty sure most Scientologists don't. OT7 doesn't work and it takes 3 to 10 years. Yep. And it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. If you spent 60 years in a cult and you are the exact same person and nothing has changed, you know it's all fake. Okay. Mike has spoken. The sad part of that is that's not true. A lot of people stay in cults for a very, very long time. They don't change and they don't know it's fake. They just keep thinking there's something wrong with me because that's what cults do. They go, it's something wrong with you. It's not all these other people because look around, they're winning. It's got to be you. And that's what keeps people in. They're like, all right, I'll try it again another day. So anyway, morning, I'm up at every 2 hours feeding an abandoned kitty. I think I know what the RFP feels like. The RPF, you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Every 2 hours. Wow, that's sweet. All right, here's a comment from Sophie. Language is the most effective part of a control system. Who controls the words controls the reality. Very, very true. Very, very true. Okay, in Swedish Lena. Mindy interviewed Jeff Hawkins, not Jackson. Okay, unless Mindy did 2 separate interviews. Okay, either way, I'll look at her interviews and see them. That's good. That's good to know. Okay. Scientology has a remedy for cancer. No, they don't. It's the scale of havingness. Lecture 29, November 1956. That was the last straw for me to make me leave for good. Good. Congratulations. Only other people did. Mindy did 2 interviews, Jefferson and Jackson. Okay, thank you, old Fritz. Thank you very much. Wow, Tori. Wow, what? All right. Love from Australia, Tori. Thank you. Enjoy Australia. That looks like a cool place to be. Instead of taking care of their kids, they send them to Scientology school. Well, I don't know. I can see both sides of it. It's like Scientology school uses the Scientology principles of Scientology. It's not like they're not taking care of their kids. They're going to school. I don't agree with that. I taught at some of the Scientology schools, and I don't know. It isn't that they weren't taking care of their kids. I think the ones where it's really bad is Sea Org, where they can't take care of them because they're at the ranch, and they never get to even go to school. A lot of those, like Aaron, I don't think he even had a high school diploma. It's like a lot of the kids, they never had that thing because Scientology didn't give it to them. It was awful. She did another interview. Okay. All right. Here's YRB. Both my parents were really ready to go, but didn't know what is next. But that didn't bother them. My mom said, I'm done, and died within, wow, within what? You have to finish that one. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, here it is. Both my parents were really ready to go, but didn't know they were children in body. My mom said, I'm done, and died within. Ah, you said the same thing. Within what? YRB, we need the rest of it. Okay, here's a question. I suspect my older sister is being a Scientologist. How can I find out if that's really the case? She's very robotic, vague, and difficult to communicate with. Ask her. Hey, you know what? I've been studying up on this thing called Scientology. What do you think? Have you? And if she's in it, she's going to go, I think it's great. And if she isn't in it, she's going to go, really? Probably be against it, and pitch whatever she's in, or be like, I don't know anything about it, which in this day and age, most people do know something about it. But I would ask her. I would just ask her. I'm really big on that. Just ask people. I know, so sad how children are treated. Okay. I don't know. I for the kids that were treated awfully, it is tragic. It is awful. But it isn't everyone that was in Scientology. Their kids were treated awfully. The public are totally different than the Sea Org. And the kids who were raised in Scientology are different than the kids like my son. It was totally different. I mean, it's completely different. So, it's like the ones that were treated creepy, and that's true for any children. It's awful. And I like that thing, children, what is it? Children can't choose, or whatever it is. I'll have to watch the one with Jackson because I watched the Jefferson interview on replay. Okay, all right. Yeah. If you haven't seen it already, look at Tori's video on the OTs. 4 OT former Scientologists talk about. Yeah, this is called OTs Speaking Freely. And it's a really good interview. We're only out a couple weeks. And I think it's shocking. It really is. It still is to me to this day. It's like, wow. Cult cause mental illness. Yeah, I think they can a lot of the time. All right, this is Harry Advocate. Hello, Tori from Surf Coast, Australia. All right, cool. That's pretty cool. YRB, the shame. Okay, the shame is if family is not connected, that's a permanent loss in a cruel way to a living. For sure. Now, can you finish what you were saying, though? Your mom died when? Like the next day, or what happened? Because you never finished that. Okay, Fluffer Squirrel. DM is such a coward. Very true. Aw, thank you. This is why we love Tori. Thank you. I love you guys. All right, here's a question. Have you ever partaken in the drug world, weed or anything else? I do weed for my seizure disorder. Wow, really? I didn't know that. I have when I was a hippie. I was in San Francisco during the 60s and I did all kinds of drugs. And Scientology, that's one of the things my mom said. There's two things that helped you. One was getting you off drugs, because I wasn't really like a druggie. I was like a social butterfly druggie. But had I not gotten into Scientology, I might have kept on the same path of drugs and became a druggie. So she was happy about that, and it got me back connected with them, which was good too. I didn't know you had seizures though. That's really cool that the weed helps you. That's great. And you know what? If you still have seizures, you can get one of those dogs that what do they call those dogs? They're the really cool dogs that help you, and they have dogs that can perceive when you're going to have a seizure. So you could get one of those dogs, Psych on the Rocks. Think about it. Because I think that would be very cool. Thank you. All right. This is the OT speaking freely. I think that's it. All right. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. I was going to try to do it at night, like do it over at the complex, but it's so hot. It honestly is. I have the air conditioning on now. All right. Okay. 49ers for life. Tori speaking. Sino is just the best. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Tell me what that means, 49ers for life. Old Fritz, Tori, I'll put your ethics in the scabbard, you fucking idiot. Made me laugh out loud. Did I say I'll put his ethics in? I don't think I said that. I said his ethics are out, you fucking idiot. I'm not going to put his ethics in. He'd have a long program if he was with me. Bridge to happiness, they're selling happiness. I think they're selling freedom is really what they're selling. YRB, weasel, strong words. Okay, and here's Mike. All cults are selling eternal happiness. Okay, and then here's Marzi Dotes. Comment. I remember all the YouTube ads in the late 70s, about Dianetics. I asked my brother, is that a cult? He said, yes. I'm glad he was aware. I wonder how many people can tell a cult in the beginning. Boy, that's a good one. Probably a lot of people. But back in those days, no. I never even heard the word cult. Swedish Lena, comment. Mindy interviewed both Jackson and Jeff Hawkins. I checked that she did make 2 different interviews. Now those are 2 upstanding men. They are. I like both of them. That's good. All right. It's just stuff you can get from other places without joining a cult. Yes, absolutely. Okay. witness. Here's a question. Tori, could you do the Bill Yachty impression with his cigarette where he said something like jackpot? They'll be fighting for hours. I love that one. Yeah. Okay, so Yachty was on the internet, doing his thing. I had helped him open up these 10 different phony accounts. I didn't know what he was doing with them. He said, "Don't worry, I'm just handling the internet and any of the people that are trying to hurt our church." So I thought, okay. So I'm in his office watching him, and he's typing away and typing away and typing away. I have no idea what he's doing. It's just sort of like, I don't know what the internet is. I don't understand what he's doing. I don't really care. As long as I'm helping the church, that's a good thing, right? So all of a sudden he goes like this. And he goes, he stands up and he goes like this. All right, bingo. He lights up a cigarette. Bingo, we got it. And I said, you got what? And he goes, these people are going to be fighting for hours, days, weeks. It's going to go on forever. Let's go to dinner. And we went to dinner. But I want people to understand when you're in this like, the snarl fest thing, right? If you get in a snarl fest, that's all it is. They're running it. And I know people go, well, I can disagree. Tori's wrong about that. Of course you can disagree. Of course. But I'm saying when the snarl fest goes on and on and on and on, that's a snarl fest. And that is not just something between two people. It's run and it's programmed and they're working it. And that's exactly, bingo, let's go to dinner. It's Bill Yachty. All right, Fluffer Squirrel, comment. I think LRH stole the AEIOU drills from the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. I was thinking that. I think it is some kind of a kid thing now that I think of it. I think AEIOU those are the vowels. That's all that is. That's what that is. AEIOU. Remember what that is? Those are the vowels that you have to learn when you're learning English as a kid. AEIOU. It isn't a Scientology drill. They have different drills like A to E, stuff like that. They have different things, but it isn't AEIOU. That's a child's thing. Thank you, Fluffer Squirrel. I was thinking, I think that's a thing from the kids. I just checked it out and posted a comment above this. I corrected myself as I had missed the Jackson. Okay, thank you, Swedish Lena. Oh, interesting. This is what Anon said. There's a creepy AEIOU tone scale video. I never heard that as a tone scale. AEIOU. I don't think so. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But it isn't a Scientology one, right? Let me know if it's a Scientology one. I want to see it. Please use the whole words for Tori. Thank you, Mamacita. Dogs unite against Scientology. Hi, Tori. Hi, that's a cute nick. All right, here's a question. Okay, Tori, do you know anything about Hubbard presenting Miscavige with the Star of Trust pin in 1982? I'm sorry, I don't. I don't know a lot about Hubbard. I really don't. I didn't like the guy. I didn't trust him. And, I just didn't. So it didn't take a lot of time to learn all the little ins and outs of L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, I had to listen to him. I thought he was a bullshit artist when I listened to him. I'd listen to his tapes and he'd go, on and on. My brother, I was with my friends and, my friends and I down at the lake and this and that. And, he'd always throw in all these words, right? All kinds of shit that were these long words. And originally they had a hard to define dictionary. And it was, originally they were just on little 3x5 cards. Hard to find words, and you'd go through it and find your word and look it up, right? Because it wasn't in a regular dictionary or very hard to find. Now, right before I left, I went in and I saw the hard to find dictionary. It's like this long and this thick. That's how many words that L. Ron Hubbard said that are just difficult to find. Hey, hi, Apostate Alex. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Make sure to hit the like button. I'm glad you're here. Can't you just walk out the door, sneak out, walk away? Flowers 13, watch my Escape series. It's on here. It's a 10-part series, and no, you can't just do that. I mean, you technically, you maybe, but there's tons of us who ended up. I mean, I thought you could walk out. That's what I thought. Just walk out, So I had my van set up, and they canceled it, and the plane was canceled, and the vice president came. We know where you're going. You're not going there. It was just like all the way across the country. Like I said, I started in LAX as a Scientologist. By the time I got across the country in one night, by the time I got to Tampa Airport and got out of it, I was an activist. That was it. I knew they were full of shit. I mean, I already knew they were, but I really knew they were. They proved it. They proved what the critics had said. All right, so here's a question. Thank you, Mia. I just watched Magoo dancing in Boston last night and loved it. What year was that recorded? It was in 2000. It was the year I escaped out. It was 2 weeks after I'd escaped out. We went up to Boston, and that's how that came about. Fluffer squirrel, yes, it's also a mind control technique used in interrogation. I think it's in the Kubrick manual. I'm not sure if I spelled it correctly. I think you did. I think that's good. Right. Thank you, Sophie. And everybody's saying hi to you, Alex. A whole bunch of people. And Gypsy Sneakerhead says, question, how do you escape exactly? Did you just walk out the door? Did you sneak out? Oh, did someone pick you up? It was a bit of a process. Remember, I was married and had 30 years of friends that I was going to be leaving. So it isn't like, it just all happened so fast. And I woke up. I call it the Truman Show, and it was just like it cracked in half. And it was just like, Andrea said to me on the internet, I believe in truth. I believe in looking at both sides, and I have the courage to say what I think. I don't think Scientologists are bad. I just think they're misinformed. Best wishes, Andreas Helderlin. And he had his entire name, address, and phone number at the bottom. And you have to understand, I was working with OSA. We were using phony names, phony addresses. Everything was secret. It was like unbelievable. This guy's supposed to be the SP of the world. And here because he had xenu.net, xenu.net. And here he is totally transparent, with all his information. So I thought, well, maybe I could ask him something. So I clicked on his little email. Now I'm talking to an SP, which was really frightening to me. And I'm like, why do you have up these things about my... Well, first I said thank you to him. That's what happened. And he said, you're welcome, and had his name. So then I clicked on the email and said, why do you have up all this stuff about my religion? And he said, I believe in truth. I believe both sides have the courage to say what I think. And he said, I don't think Scientologists are bad. They're just misinformed. I suggest you start reading. Now, I had not read anything on the internet at all. I was totally terrified to read anything because of what Bill Yardy had lied to me about, saying my friend who went insane, which she didn't go insane. They drugged her and reverse audited her. But that's what he said, so I wasn't going to read anything. He said, don't read anything. That's what happened to her. So I go, okay, I won't. But now I think, all right, I'll pick one thing and read it. And Mary Tabiorian had in her subject line, ladies, if you're thinking of joining the Sea Org, read this. And I clicked on it, and it was all about enforced abortions, which I did not know they made women get enforced abortions. And it was all how horrible it was. And she had to go to work the next day on post. And it was just, I couldn't stop crying. I cried for 4 hours. I could not stop crying. I was just like, this is awful. And I knew it was the end of my life in Scientology. It was like, I can't stay and support that. I just can't. This other shit's been bad enough, but this is like, no, it's not going to happen. And so then I couldn't stop crying. So I said, and I can't talk to anybody. I can't say, hey, I woke up, I'm leaving Scientology. So I wrote to Andreas and I said, I can't stop crying. And he said, I'm sorry reading your email. I'm so sorry you're having to go through this, but I've got to ask you this one question. Because I said, if I leave, I'm going to lose my husband and all of my friends. And I don't know if my soul can take it. And so he wrote back and he said, I'm crying reading your email. I'm sorry you went through this. I got to ask you this one question. What kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? And that is a great question. And that was the end for me. I realized he's right. They're not my friends. And they're not. They turned on me immediately. Not one of them said, look, not even my husband. Well, come talk to me. I tell me what happened. No, you wanted to go to the movies. Bullshit. I'm leaving the cult and you want to go to the movies? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Sure. None of them. Okay. So Mike says, I loved the cult when I thought it wasn't a cult and it was all real. Sure. That's true for every cult. Nanya, never in, always against. Gypsy Sneakerhead. She has the entire series of videos on a story on her channel. Yeah, I do. You can just type in, go to Tori Magoo 44 and just put a plus sign, escape, and it'll come up. The series will come up, and just it's 1 to 10, and it walks you through it, how I got in, how I woke up, how I escaped out. Thank you, Nanya. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to support Tori. There's my link tree. Yeah, thank you for that, Sophie. And thank you for being my moderator. I love you. She's really great. All right. All right. Here he is. He's going to send him an email. Send me an email too. All right. And here's Perth. Yay. All right. And here's Sophie. Question. Do you think Elron had some kind of mental illness like schizophrenia? Because that would explain the body things. I do. I really do. I really think he had something. I don't know what. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to try to diagnose it. But he wasn't normal. Let's just say that. I mean, he was very, very, narcissistic, wanting everything about him. He was very he had an evil side to him, which was pretty creepy. He had the whole BTs and cluster thing, which, I mean, he was a sci-fi writer, so it sort of fit in with that. But it was a little weird to get people paying for that, I thought later. Question. Do you ever get creepy feelings about the blue buildings like Aja does? No, I don't. But I've been in all of them. See, Aja has never been in them. So she doesn't know. That's what happens to people when they don't know what's inside. Your imagination is always worse than what it really is. They're rooms. You know what I mean? I can tell you exactly, like AO, you walk in, it's got a lot, the downstairs is a reg, somebody selling books, and the registrar, somebody selling you, courses and stuff like that. And then some other, private rooms if they need to talk to you, whatever. There's that. And then you upstairs, and they're just big course rooms. That's all it is. And auditing rooms. They have separate auditing rooms. That's it. And then ASHO is a big thing, same kind of downstairs. And then upstairs is big course rooms and some auditing rooms. That's how they all are. That's the way they are. So, no, I didn't get spooked out of it at all. I've been in all of them all over the place. So for me, there's nothing creepy about them. They're just people that are there, trying to get wins and trying to get better and thinking or trying to help someone else get better. And that's what they're doing. Good morning from Greece. Oh, another place I want to go so much. All right. And this is Swedish Lena, Perth. How is Bert doing? He's such a cute little bat. Oh, cute. All right. I do just see it on videos. It's creepy, Big Blue. Yeah, if you just see it's because you don't know what's in it. You know what I mean? It's gonna, and people have talked about different things. So, it's like I don't even know some of the people that say certain things. I don't even think they've been in many of these different buildings. They've been in some building. But it's like if you went in there, you'd be like, "Really? This is it?" It's nothing. It's not really creepy at all. It isn't even really creepy. Most of the stuff that happens that's in those buildings, around Big Blue, that's like nothing. Flag. Now that's a different thing. That's creepy because there's all kinds of shit that happens at Flag. But Big Blue is just sort of mostly the lower bridge and then AO with the upper bridge. And that's all weird stuff that you guys know now. But I get it if you think it, because you're only seeing it long distance, you're seeing it on a video. So it can, and again, our imaginations are always worse than what really is. Tori, do you know Jeff Hawkins? I do, and Mark Fisher. They were both beat up pretty badly directly by DM. Okay, Jeff Hawkins is the person I'm talking about who said to me what I told you. Jeff Hawkins was not beat up by David Miscavige. Jeff Hawkins told me personally at Nancy Maney's house. I said, Jeff, you're a big guy. How could David Miscavige, El Shrimpo, tiny guy, beat you up? I grew up with all men so that are big men, so I know how they work, and it's like, it's not going to happen. Some little shrimpy guy isn't going to beat you up. And he said, okay, well, let's get a couple of things straight. First of all, you're not going to beat up the head of the cult. True. Secondly, Miscavige doesn't really beat you up. He said he basically bitch slaps you, and he has big bodyguards and, people with him, and they will beat you up if you try to fight back. That's what he told me. Now, maybe he has a different story about being, okay, it's badly directly. Both were beat up pretty badly directly by DM. Okay. Well, maybe he changed his tune because that was many years ago. He told me that. I think Tori might have helped clear more of the planet than the whole of Scientology. So, yeah. It's so great. You made me laugh. Okay, so now you're all chatting with each other, so that's good. Cancel culture is a cult, in my opinion. Yeah. Hey, Tori and lovely people of chat. Hi, B. Taylor. Okay, witness. Super suspicious. No autopsy, cremated, and ashes out to sea before any public announcement. Shady. I've talked to more than one person who were either in the area or there. And there's many different conflicting stories about Hubbard's death. But I would say very fishy. So Tori calling David a little shrimp makes me laugh so hard. He is a shrimp. I'm 5'7". I'm way taller than he is. I saw him at Flag. He's a dick. He came and tore everything off, all of our wars that we had, all the OT7s. He said, okay, the party's over. You guys all have to get it together. We're going to be selling the bridge to doctors, dentists, chiropractors. So you guys have to start looking more professional, acting more professional. This whole party thing, it's done. And we were all like, okay, fuck you, we're leaving too. And we did. We left soon after. Okay, cancel culture. What the fuck is that? Well, it's people getting canceled. This is my understanding of it. It's people getting canceled. Kind of, that's it. You know, you say some word they don't like, okay, you lost your job. Or people that were in the music industry and they said something and it was taken the wrong way, or somebody pulls it up from 20 years ago and now their tour is canceled. You know, it's just stuff where it's canceling stuff. It's called the cancel culture. There's too much stuff I think is getting canceled. You know, where it just goes on and on and on. I think he's bonded to an elderly person at the pack. At the pack, he is only among a few that actually have shown some politeness and helps them if they're fragile. I missed something, YRB. What are you talking about? I missed something. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't find it. I don't see it. The last thing I see is weasel strong words. Okay. You're going to have to, when you say, I think he's bonded to elderly person. He who? And is only among the few that actually have shown some politeness and helps them if they're fragile. Okay, so my guess is you're talking about a Sea Org member? I don't know. Notice, Swedish Lena, no sign of bird. He's probably sleeping somewhere. Okay, here's something. Odo's mom is an auditor from what I read in an article. Darn. Okay, that might be it. I didn't know that. I mean, I heard his sisters had left, and I thought, well, maybe the parents died, but I guess they're alive and auditing, so that might keep them there. I felt a lot of evil and sadness when I went to the Blue Building. Well, you obviously came with a lot of evil and sadness that somebody told you about. Because, I don't know, I get it. You know, I do. There's different ways you can look at all kinds of things. You know, to me, it's like I don't see it as evil and sad because I knew people that were in there that, you know, they thought they were winning at it. Now, whether they were or not, probably not, but they thought they were. I thought I was. I thought it was good. I liked it. I did. There were some things that I did that I really liked. I did. And I had a good time there most of the time. Most of the time I did. So for me, I don't see it as evil and sad because I think of the people on course. We had a lot of fun together. I mean, a lot of fun. And I did a thing for a lot of my bridge rather than pay for it because it's a lot of money. I did what's called co-auditing, where I would audit you and you would audit me. And so we both have to get trained in the thing, and then we co-audit each other. And that was a lot of fun. It really was, because it's different than the professional route. I didn't want to do that. Oh, okay. Apostate Alex says, or it's just not being applied correctly. If it was done right, it would work. Well, okie dokie, artichoke. I think some of it, I think you're right. I think a lot of it, it's it's debatable. But people that are independents who still really like the tech, that's how they feel. It works if you use it right. And the rest of us go, yeah. Not that it doesn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, Alex. I'm just saying it's like I would never pay for it again if I knew the other avenues that you can get the same information for 1995 in a book, or on the internet, on YouTube. It's on there. It's like all the information is out there basically for free, or at libraries for free. So that's why I think I wouldn't pay for it. But there's some stuff that works in it for sure. Hubbard knew how to copy stuff from really good things that work. YRB Odo. Okay. Oh, okay. No, wait. Now I got to go back up and see what you were talking about. YRB. I think he's bonded. You think Odo is bonded to an elderly person at the PAC base. He is only among the few that actually have shown some politeness and helps them if they're fragile. Interesting. He's bonded to an elderly person. Okay, so he's like helping that elderly person. All right, well, thank you, YRB. I'm glad you explained that. Comment. Whenever I have cognitive dissonance, I often find it's because it's a programmed idea and not my real belief, but rather was given by propaganda. Good. That's good. See, that's a win for some people. They'll go, oh, that's true. And there you go. Hey, Alex. GTSY. All right, you guys are all saying hi. Hi. Sophie said, thanks. It's so Tori knows who you are talking about when she reads it without any context. Yeah, it definitely helps. Mindy definitely interviewed both Jeff and Jackson. Good. That's nice. That had to be good for her too. I'll have to go hear those. All right, here's a question. How many people die within Scientology? Because why haven't the FBI figured it out yet? This country was started on religion. This is how Stacy explained it to me. And so it started, religious freedom is very strong in this country. And it's kind of like they don't want to impinge on that. That's what I think. Or like the LAPD, it's not that they're paid off, like Streets has explained to me. It's just that they donate so much money to LAPD, to Scientology, that then when they need help, they get it, from the LAPD. Not that they need help, but I mean, when they need them to handle us, do you see what I mean? They're there in a second. Not to help us, but to, do whatever needs to get done. Okay, Geoplanet Jane. Hello, Tori. I'm a never end. The same age as you. A fan member was grabbed up at age 18 or so. Had I known just how abusive it was, I'd have gone and kidnapped her back out. Oh, she's still in? A family member was grabbed up at 18. Okay, had I known how abusive it was, I'd have gone and kidnapped her back out. Well, go there still. Is the person still? If they're still in, go talk to them. It's like I told a friend of mine. He came to one of my parties, and his daughter was in the SEAL. And I said, "Well, what are you doing to change that?" And he said, "Nothing. There's nothing I can do. I just have to wait till she comes out." I said, "She's never gonna come out. You've got to get proactive." And he said, "What would I do?" And I said, "Go over and bring her flowers every week. Just say, I want to bring these flowers to my daughter and I want to talk to her." And sure enough, "Get out, get away from here." And he'd go back every week and they'd "Get out, get away from here." And so they finally sent a PR person to quote unquote handle him. And he knew religion. He did. And they finally kicked the daughter out of the Sea Org just to get her away from the staff because everyone else was seeing this big ruckus every week. So they kicked her out, and she left Scientology after that. So that's what I say to people. I mean, if you have a family member that's in, do something. Go there. They don't own these people. You see what I mean? Go there. Bring flowers. Bring cookies. Say, I want to talk to her. They'll say, "Now," or you can't. Knock on the door. "Hey, I have a family member in here." I did a thing with Steve Hassan and a father. And I will just say that I'll just tell you one thing about the father because it was so great. He was a millionaire. And he said, "I'm not really in touch with my daughter, but if this doesn't work," and he pulls out this huge sign with a photograph of his daughter saying, "I want to talk to my daughter," right? And he said, "I will be out in front of Celebrity Center every single day until she leaves." And I knew it. I mean, he meant business. And she ended up leaving. That was it. It wasn't because of that. She ended up leaving because of, all the stuff that we educated her on. But she left. But the father was ready to go. If she wasn't, if it didn't happen, he was going to go into high gear. And I'm just saying, I feel the same. But I know it's tricky because it's like, it's easy to say that, but like my ex husband is in Scientology, but he was born in it, so he has nothing to compare it with except Scientology, and he won't talk to me. He can't talk to me. He'll be declared suppressive if he talks to me. So it's tricky. It is. It's really tricky. But the other thing you can do is send them cards, send them letters, just say hi. I'm just writing to say hi. They might throw them away, but who cares? It's better than nothing. Personally, I know a lot of kids sent to boarding schools their whole lives. I was sent to a boarding school, not my whole life, but the last 2 years of my high school. Sometimes a country away. Sadly, it was posh to do that at the time. Right. I don't know that it was posh. My parents felt like they had to get me away from where I was. L. Ron Hubbard wrote, "No autopsy or anything. I'm watching an interesting documentary on YouTube called Fair Game, The Truth of Scientology." Good. All right. Thank you, Nanya. Huh. All right. Well, that's good. That's more stuff to watch. This is Sophie. Question. So are Scientology schools not accredited? Good question. How do they get away with sending kids to school not connected to the education system curriculum? First of all, I don't know if they are accredited. They were trying to get accreditation way back when I was in 2000. I think the 90s. We were trying to get the schools accredited. So my guess is they probably are. How did they get away with sending kids to school not connected to the educational system? They use their Scientology system. I mean, I talked to many, that's a whole different thing, but I mean, they use their Scientology system. And it just a great, it in many areas it works. It was very bad in math. That was their worst area. Okay, YRB, thank you. She died in minutes. Wow. Oh, that's how sad. I'm so sorry to hear that, but thank you for answering that. Most of the kids did not have much more than primary education and know very little about the real world history, etc. Okay, now again, Geoplanet Jane, I don't know who you're talking about, but for the Sea Org, that is true. For the public, a lot of the public kids I know all went on to college, and my son has a college degree, and they were very educated. He's fantastic in history. He knows all kinds of shit, way more stuff than I do. So I think it just depends. Sea Org, you're right. You're right on that. We hear of how Mike Brown and Sterling were treated. Of course, but see, that's the Sea Org. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There is a difference in the Sea Org and public. I don't think people get it to this day. I have spent hours trying to educate people on Sea Org. Sea Org is a group of people, 24 hours a day. They are at Scientology. They are working for them. They are fed by them. They sleep there. They get up and work again. That's what they do. They sign a billion-year contract. That is a small group of people. That's it. Those are those people. And Mike Brown and Sterling, they were part of that whole thing. On the other side of Scientology are the public, which is a large group of people, and they had a whole different experience than those guys. It's you're going to naturally because you come home and you're at your own house and you go to work and you work at your own job. You see what I mean? So it's a different life than the Sea Org job where they're totally in the Truman Show 24/7, 365 days a year. Public, you've got your life here, kid or kids, friends, family, you've got your job, everything else, your community. And then, oh yeah, I go over to Scientology and do that. You see what I mean? But it's like an hour or two a day. It's not 24/7, 365 days a year. So it's a big difference. Okay, so there's that Geoplanet Jane. Okay, Sophie comment. I was raised as an adult child. It was okay, but it's also not okay as well. Creates anxiety. Okay, I can see that. And did you have to raise your other siblings? All right. There is a Cito school. I think you mean Scientology school in Kansas City. Its teacher is a teenager. Really? Wow, that's pretty bad. They didn't have that here. That's bad. Okay, comment. I love all the videos you've made. It's like an encyclopedia. You can type Tori Magoo and anything you want to learn about. And 90% of the time, a video pops up and you made a video. Thank you, Jurgen. Yeah, it's funny because when I left, very few people were speaking out when I left in 2000. I mean, Andreas had Xenu.net, which was a wonderful thing. Arnie Lerma had Lermanet, and Larry Wallersheim and some other people had started FactNet. So those were the main three things of information. But as far as people just writing about Scientology, there were very few people, and so there was no one public. There's still, I think I'm the only public that talks about it. So that may be why it's more difficult for people, because all you hear about is Sea Org stuff all the time. So like Geoplanet Jane, if you hear about Sea Org, I think you're going to think Sea Org, right? Whereas I'm the only one really that's public that I know of. Maybe there's some other public, but I don't know that there are. Maybe there are. There might be, but there certainly are that have never been in. But as far as that we're in, I don't know. I don't know of many, if any, that have spoken out. So yeah, I started writing, thinking, oh, all right, I bet they don't know about this. I bet they don't know about that. I bet they don't know about this, and it just kept going. Okay, now let me see. Wait. Uh-oh. It won't go up. Okay, YRB. Ah, my COVID brain is not working tonight. I'm going to be quiet. No, 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 no. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Sophie's just trying to help me out because see, here she says right here, YRB, please don't. Just try to put in a complete sentence. Tori loves answering questions, but she needs all the information. It's like, because that whole thing, you left out some things and then I had to keep asking you about it, but I was interested in it. So, and I appreciate that you answered it, but just don't worry about it. Just try to do a complete thing if you can. Now, see, here's Verity. She writes assistant dogs. Was she talking about assistance dogs? Oh, that's the name we were talking about earlier. Okay, okay. I had mentioned there's dogs that can pick up. I found out recently seizures, and they know ahead of time. I think they're called assistance dogs. I think there's another name for them though. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. Thank you. Question: if a person were to have a heart attack or stroke within the church, would they call an ambulance? Very good question. No, I don't think so. Um, I don't know though, because a heart attack, you can die from that, and a stroke. I know having seizures, they never called an ambulance for me, and they took me off my medicine, or they made sure I got off my medicine in '72. And then I started having grand mal seizures, and they never called an ambulance, not once, not one time. It's pathetic, isn't it? It really is. Ah, Tori 49ers for Life was saying when you use Scientology words. Okay, when I use Scientology words, what? See, this is where it gets difficult for me because it's like there's another place. It's easier if I go, okay, 49ers was saying when you use Scientology words, well, what's the end of the sentence? It's like when you use Scientology words, what? Because I can't remember whatever he said earlier. See, so I'm like, okay, he was saying when you use Scientology words. Well, I think he said he liked it or something, or I'm not sure. I can't remember what he said. I'll have to go back up and look. 49ers for life. Let's see. 49ers for life. For life. Ah, you guys are great. You have been blabbing away. Where is he? 49ers for life. See, this is why it helps if you just restate it. Ouch. Let's see, 49ers for life. Wow, we really had a lot of communication here. I don't see 49ers for life. Darn. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, I can't remember. I can't find it. Sorry, I've taken too much time of any of your time. Just say it again for whatever it is, because I don't remember, Sophie, what what he was talking about. And that's exactly why I say the whole thing. Because it's like, even if you said it before, maybe, let's say he said, I love when Tori uses, and I went, uses what? And then Sophie goes, Scientology words. And I'm like, okay, Scientology words what? In the meantime, there's like 20 or 30 comments that I've been answering and talking about. So to try and remember that he said, I like it when Tori uses, so it just helps to just, because you've got it in your head. Oh, okay. He likes it when she uses Scientology words. So just say the whole thing again. It's not going to hurt anybody to hear it twice, but it definitely takes time when it's, I don't know, maybe is that weird or not? I don't know. To me, it seems like a very logical thing. All right, Anna. It is a Scientology training video on the tone scale. The video had short clips of individual people saying A-E-I-O-U in the tone level. Oh, they even did it below death tones saying A-E-I-O-U. Interesting. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I don't think it was one that I did, but I think I could do it. I do. I know it. All right. Now this is one in German, I think. So I'm going to leave that be. Okay. This is one from Jurgen. My whole family made it out. Wow, came to USA. Thank God. The ones of us that didn't make it out got death marched to Siberia. Wow. Wow. That's intense, Jurgen. Andreas is famous in the WWW history. He will always be famous. Andreas will go down in history forever. And not just because of my story, but he was an amazing person. I mean, I was really honored to get to know him. Tori, my other comment was referring to the Scientology drills using Alice in Wonderland and how it's identical to the confusion technique used by the CIA in their manual. Oh, interesting. Wow. Yeah? So the CIA uses that? Confusion technique used by the CIA. Wow. Yeah. I have a funny story on bull baiting. Flopper School, UK. Bull baiting is part of the TRs. So you're learning how to confront, then you're learning how to be. Well, first it's just being there quietly. Then you're there confronting. Then you're there delivering a communicate. No, before you go on to TR1 is bull baiting to see if you can actually be there. So Yvonne came to me and she said, look, there's a businessman here. This is at Celebrity Center, and I was in the Academy levels. And she said, look, we've got this businessman here, and he insists he doesn't have any buttons, and no one can make him crack up or laugh or anything. And we want to see if you would bull bait him and see. And I said, okay. So I sit down with him, and he's in his suit and everything, and I try a few things, and nothing is working. Nothing. And most people crack up right away. It's just sort of like, they've got curly hair. You say, hey, curly, and they start laughing or whatever. Just simple stuff. But this guy, nothing. So finally I thought, okay, I got to just get it together. So I lean back and I look at him and I go like this. Frogs. And the guy bursts out laughing. I mean, just completely loses it. And I go, okay, that's a flunk. Start. Frogs. He bursts out laughing again. And I go, that's a flunk. Start. And he's there, and I go, frogs. And he finally goes, okay, time out, time out. How did you know? And I said, how did I know what? And he goes, I used to wear a little frog on my hand, and I went into Central Park, and I'd go and talk to the kids about with my little frog. It, it was like I didn't. It just came to me. You know, I had no idea about that. But isn't that a cute story? Okay, so Jurgen, you're in Georgia. And Jane, where are you? Okay. Ooh, now they're talking in a secret language. Northern California, it's Geoplanet Jane. Okay. And Jurgen, oh yeah, these guys have this secret language. I love California. Okay. Ooh, the Soviet Union and now Russia are horrendous. There were just a few years when it was safe to visit there, not now. Really? Because my brother's been over there doing, a few years ago, he did some concerts there. Ah, comment. I found your page when you made the video about Andreas after he passed. What a guy. You know, the most amazing thing is he called me and he said, look, and this was 2 years before he passed away. He said, look, and I mean, you have to get, he had just gotten his company going. It was really rolling. He had his partner. He was really happy. I mean, he was really, he lost a lot of weight. You know, he was just doing really well in all of his areas of his life. He was a chaplain, so he was marrying people, and you know, it was just incredible. And he calls me and he goes, "Yeah, it turns out I have a tumor." And I just go, "Andreas," you know? And he goes, "And they said I have 2 years to live." And I said, "Andreas, that can't be. No, 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 no." I was just like, And he goes, "Okay, Tori, I don't want you to be sad. I'm a lucky guy." And I said, "You're a lucky guy?" And he goes, "I am. I've lived a wonderful life, and I feel very happy with my life. And I don't want you to be sad." And I thought, oh, that is so sweet. It's so Andreas. It's so typical of him. It's amazing. I love you, Tori, and it's my absolute pleasure to help you. Thank you, Sophie. You have been a dream. I really, you and Lovett are wonderful. Lovett had to go to bed tonight. Now, look, here's the secret language again. Ooh. I don't know what it is, but it's a secret language. I think you may have just missed seeing the AEIOU tone scale video, but it definitely existed and it was very creepy. I'm not saying it isn't. I may have done it and done the drills. It's just I'm thrilled that I can't remember things like this. Every time I can't remember a Scientology thing, I'm like, woo! I'm another step farther away from that. Look, here's another secret code. You have to let me know what that is. All right, and here's from Anna. I think you may have just missed. Oh, good. All right, and here's Witness and Charles Patrick. Did anyone else see the Mark Rathbun documentary from around 10 years ago? Tori was in it for a couple of seconds in an outdoor protest somewhere. Are you think? Is it the one where it's My Life as a Scientologist or something like that? I think I saw it. I did. You in Scientology? Was I? Are you kidding me? Please, please define who you mean by you, Geoplanet Jane. Okay, here's Jurgen to her. It's a nightmare if you didn't get out before 1917. You were screwed if you were German. My great-grandfather got Even human. Okay. All right. This must be a different conversation. Okay. Question. Do you think Spanky will join you sometime at one of your protests? No. She has a business that she's doing, and it just she did Going Clear, and that was it. That's it. So no, she's not. She's never been a protester. I've been a protester. That's what I do. But that's not her thing. Comment, Tori, my dad was a psychic nurse for 50 years, so I grew up visiting mental hospitals and understanding mental illnesses. Well, cool, Sophie. So then you know if Miscavige is, he probably is. You can tell us. Do you think that the sustained small protests at each of the orgs and PAC can maintain the momentum for a full year? And remember, anyone can file the IRS farm too. I think you mean form. You can file the form to the IRS. I don't know if they're going to. We've protests have gone on and off for years, so it isn't like in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but um, I think they're going to go on as long as people want to do them, and there may be a time when they stop, but like Street said, go ahead, open up. We'll be here. We'll be there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like Scientology knows that, so they're a little bit screwed. A lot screwed, Scientology. So we'll see what happens. Okay, here's Marcy Dode's question. Do you think Spanky will join you sometime on one of your protests at Big Blue? No, I don't. Um, but she supports me. She's happy that I do it, but I don't think she will. Yes, I know the history of Russia and Germany. I'm particularly a scholar of the 20th century Germany. All right. Okay, here's a question. What would you do if you found out that your ex-husband had finally left the cult? Well, he'd have to want to talk to me, wouldn't he? And that doesn't mean he leaving the cult wouldn't mean that he definitely wants to talk to me. He used to be very frightened of suppressive people, and he may still be. And if he is, he's not going to want to talk to me. So it's kind of up to him. It's not really up to me. I'm willing to talk to anybody, anytime. But whether I'm happy if he leaves Scientology. That's fine. If he doesn't need to talk to me to leave Scientology. He needs to leave Scientology. If he wants to factor in me, I'd love to talk to him. I would. So it's up to him. Dr. MLS. Good morning. Hi. Huh? So David is a shrimp and can't even beat up a person by himself. What a weakling. Well, that was my understanding with Jeff, but now it's saying apparently in this interview or with someone he said he was beat up by him. So I don't know. I know that he's kind of a creepy guy. I know that from people that were with him and me being with him. He was very creepy. But whether he can beat people up or not, my guess was Jeff's first description hit it the best, which is he bitch slaps people and then some bigger guys beat you up if you resist. Thank you. Thank you for this. This is nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. MLS. Thank you. All right, this is I grew up as a child wondering how a cultured, science-oriented country like Germany could get itself into Nazism and crimes it committed. That's why I focused strongly on that during the university. Okay, good. Yep, we could. You could pick up Miscavige and put them in my pocket. That is true. I heard the smartest people are the ones who join the cults. Well, actually, academics who study cults came and told me that because they said one of the most common misunderstandings about cults is that people who are in cults are stupid. And he said, but actually, the opposite is true from us interviewing many, 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 many people in all different cults. And most of them are quite, quite smart. That's why they got in the cult, because they wanted to do something more than just the average what's going on. And I thought, okay, that helped. That was good. So anyway, that's that. You're still wondering about cancel culture, losing everything all at once? Well, when I left Scientology, I lost everything all at once. That's a different thing. Sophie, exactly. If an advanced, intelligent culture like Germany can be led into that, then we all can. They did it step by step, bit by bit. Yeah. And they gave up different rights. Okay, cancel culture is a young American term. All right. Okay. It means I cancel. Really? It means I cancel everything you stand for? That I didn't know. I think. Okay. I don't think it does. It isn't that. It's more like what I was saying. You might say the wrong thing, say a wrong, like there's some band that my friend was just telling me, yeah, their whole tour was canceled because the guy said one thing, and it's just I, it's not a good way. I don't think it's not a healthy way. It's like you can correct people, but don't cancel them. Where it's like, all right, that's it. We're not going to have them here. Why? Because they said the. I agree with what was her name, Maya Angelou. I heard her on Oprah one time, and she was talking, and she said, I have these Sunday brunches in the morning, and she said everyone knows that it's a safe place to come and everyone's welcome. But if you make any jokes that put people down, are racist, creepy, you're out. And that's it. There's no discussion, nothing. I walk into the door, that's it, goodbye. And she said it really keeps the place safe. And that's what I did originally with YouTube because Osa was right there on my YouTube thing. And man, I was like, okay, witness. Oh, yeah, look for Ursula Caberta. Right. A well known German who exposed Scientology, brave woman. Yeah, she used to be on the German government. She arrived the night I escaped out. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna I'm gonna end off on this because this is going into a whole German thing, and you guys can. Or I'll just leave it here, and you guys can talk about Germany because I've got to go to bed. I have to get up tomorrow, and it's getting kind of late. Let me just see if there's anything. You guys have um, yeah, this is a whole big thing on Germany. I don't know where this came from, but it's not exactly. No, I don't really know where my ex is located. And yeah, it's sad. It is. Thank you so much, Phil. Phil. List. I would love to send you it. Okay. I'm trying to read books about the cult mentality, ones that are not so common. So if you have a reading list, I would love to send it. Oh, I'd love you to send it. Yeah, send it to me too. I don't know who Phil is. Thank you so much, Phil. Oh, maybe it's Sophie. Are you thinking Sophie? Because she's philosophy, but real, she's known as Sophie. Delphi's been accredited for decades. I don't know about decades, but it has for a while. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you for that. Um, okay, here's the thing. Welcome. I've been studying mind control and propaganda for years now. There are so many books. Transformation America is an excellent book. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. Woo, I'm going to scoot down. I got to go. I really do. You guys are, I love you guys. And this is night, Tori, and everyone. See you all tomorrow. Thank you, Swedish Lena. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go because I've got to get to bed. I've got to get up early tomorrow. So if you didn't like the thing, please like it. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe. Um, hello, Form 13909. Sorry, you're right at the end. Yeah, I know. She's very cool, and she's going to come see you. You're on the list. You're coming to London. Yep, that'll be good. Um, oh, I got you. I got it. Yep. There you go. All right. But this thing is just going on and on and on and on and on. Oh my God. All right. So I had to scoot by a whole bunch of them because I got to go. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know how to get rid of. I don't know how to get Oh, there you go. Okay. There. Click that. There. There. All right. So anyway, thank you all for coming tonight. I'm sorry I'm not staying longer, but we've been on for 2 hours and 18 minutes, so that's good. That's a long time. So I hope your questions were answered. I'm sorry if I had to cut off some of the discussions, but I've got to go to bed. I really do. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for helping. Sophie, thank you for everything you've done. And may you all have a wonderful day tomorrow. All right, here you go. I'm out.